Rome, the HBO series. If you watch the beginning of that, you'll know the way in which soldiers in antiquity were paid was through booty. Look at Genesis 14, or the stories of David. So if you tell your soldiers they're going to war, but they're not getting paid because everything they collect, slaves and goods, is being put to the ban, cherem, dedicated to God, it's not very attractive. So the idea that you're going to wage war for months, as Joshua has it, perhaps is an indication, like the book of Jonah, that, we're in a I don't like your distinction, fiction or assatorial. That's way too analytical for me. I think you could make the argument that the rhetoric of Joshua is suggesting a kind of literary excess that shouldn't be taken too word for word. In any event, the prosecution of cherem, so you basically have your warrior coming home no richer but poorer. You have the man who drops the bombs over Hiroshima coming home and having a steak dinner. Which culture is primitive? Which one is sophisticated? Which one is religious? Which one is secular? Something to ponder.
But Gary, what's the idea? Some of the Canaanite in the story, some of the Canaanite cities were under cherem. Some were not.
I think you make some good points, but you allied too easily, I think, the legislation from Deuteronomy, which is the more kind of blood-curdling element of everybody. But I think, that can be explained rhetorically by recourse to modern criticism. That, as you mentioned, I think that comes out of the Josianic reform. It's the interest here is telling a story so that Israelites will take their own allegiance to God seriously. The best book on that, I mentioned in my footnote, is Nathan MacDonald. He has a fantastic exegesis of that in context. But that's certainly true. But I get more worked up about atomic warfare than Joshua, or the firebombing of Dresden. Think of how many innocents in Dresden. They were collateral damage is the euphemism, right?
Yeah, let me press you one last time on this. So there's this sacral whatever concept of cherem.
I'm not saying it's good, for example, and I'm not saying we ought to do it.
No, I just want you to explain it. Because it holds for some cities and not for others. So I just want to know, and you don't even have to explain why it holds for some cities and not others, but just what's the idea?
I hate to step in, gentlemen. Really? We are up against time here. No, I have no opinion here. But these clocks may be a smidge behind. I don't know if this is perhaps if there's a venue later on to finish up. And I apologize to all who are in the queue. But I do believe we have to move on. If we could give a hand to Sergeant Rivas on the clock.